Greetings, everybody! Welcome to the Dracovin Empire. Are you ready to plane shift yourself over to the world of Golarion once more? I hope you are, because that's where I'm going to be leading you today to learn about another ancestor. Awakened animals, our furry friends that have gained sentience. So, well, they're not all furry. Some are feathered, some are scaly. But regardless, though, grab my hand. I'm going to activate the gate and plane shift us through the very universe itself, through the multiverse, from our world to Golarion once more. Your host and guide here at Campus Narrative and Dracovin. Of course, remember to tip me with like and subscribe and ring the bell as we plane shift and gate our way to Golarion once more. We've arrived at Golarion. Now, it's going to be a little difficult because we are going to be looking into a very rare ancestor, one that is very rarely seen because of their magical nature and the rare circumstances of their creation. Well, if I were to learn about this, well, where would I go to? What sources would I go to? Well, of course, the Animal Archive for First Edition is a good place to get the basic idea. But really, Howl of the Wild is the best place to go to look into perhaps playing a character when we go into the mechanical side of things. Yes. An awakened animal. What is it? Well, they were once just normal animals. That's really what it is. But they gained sapience. And it's given them this kind of connection and this hall, if you would, one between nature and the other between cities, societies, and the world of Golarion as a whole. Any animal can be awakened. Really, almost any. And this means there is just such a variety in the type of awakened animals that are out there. An awakened animal was once an animal. It was in nature, it was innocent, uncluttered mind, it lived in the moment, never questioned what comes next, never pondered the ramifications of what might happen. You were one with the wild. And then something happened. But who knows how that happened? There's so many ways that could happen. Maybe you drank from a strange glowing lake. Someone played a magical prank. A druid sought to elevate your mind. Or something else happened. There are so many ways. But you were pulled out of that present moment of the wild into thought, into the mind. You realized you had a past. For the first time, you started thinking about the future. You experienced the world in a whole new way. You become aware of dangers never occurred to you before. That there are pleasures and wonders in this apparently new world too. But understanding that there are good and bad in this new world, and that the good can be great, as long as you understand how to navigate bad. That's a good thing to know, understand all these things. Because you can't go back. There is no going back. So, an awakened animal is just that. An animal that has its mind awakened, it's been given intelligence, to perceive the world through thought. And one of the main ways to do this is through the ritual awaken animal. It isn't the only way for an animal to be awakened, but it is the way that most animals that awaken do take. If you are an animal that takes to awakening, every process is different. For some, opening the mind is electric, allowing to perceive and ponder the world never like before. Others are overwhelmed by emotions and thoughts they didn't ask for or weren't ready to hold. Most people would assume that an awakened animal, that when it awakens, the animal is full of wonder and gratitude. But they aren't really prepared for the variety of responses that they could receive. Shock, sadness, euphoria, curiosity, anger are common, and there are even other ones after that. But no matter how they react, you still have to interact with the world. There are some awakened animals that try to go back to nature, go back to the lives they had, but they aren't what animal they were before. Reconnecting with their peers is never going to happen. They have a mind that they don't. They know things, understand things, process things that they don't. Others go feel civilized, doing their best to navigate a world built not for them, but for humanoids. And there are a lot of them find themselves moving between this civilized world and the wild as a whole, because each holds only a part of what they need from life. Sometimes they need a little bit of the wild, sometimes they need a little bit of civilization. But they are a creature of both worlds. And that's something they're always going to do. being of both worlds. Now, if you see an awakened animal, they're pretty rare. And it's, you're not going to see them very often. Even when you do see one, they look like they're animals they were. From just a quick glance, you're probably not going to tell it apart from a normal animal of its species. Of course, if you closely inspect them, something about the eyes, the movement will hint at that. That, again, that's not if they don't go full civilization and use equipment and stuff like that. This is just an awakened animal you might find out anywhere. They kind of carry themselves in a way that shows they have an interest. Even if you don't know the animal is awakened, you can still sometimes feel the difference. And again, there are those often that take to the practice of wearing clothing or adornment, using tools, which make their nature obvious. I think that's the important thing is, when you see an awakened animal, there are plenty of them that, they want you to be tell them apart. They do things that make you be able to recognize they are awakened. The fortunate thing is that animals around them recognize their kin being awakened instantaneously, and with trepidation at first. If welcomed, the animal will settle and approach the awakened animal. It does take a long time for an animal truly comfortable around its awakened brethren, but it can happen. Dramatic awakenings can create stunning visual differences in an awakened animal. There are tales of awakened bears with red flame fur and birds with ghostly feathers. So, the awakened animal ritual probably won't create a lot of that, but other magic and other sources of strange power that can cause awakening will sometimes have strange effects on the animal when it awakens. Being as rare as they are, it's very rare that awakened animals even find any of each other. Now, that's not to say the same species of animal. This is just finding other awakened animals. And there's so few of them in general that making a society virtually impossible. So they settle into societies that are close by, integrating either as disguised as a typical animal, or maybe overtly as a craftsperson or laborer. Then they can decide whether humanoid society is for them. Those that say don't find much trouble adapting, actually, which is kind of an interesting thing. Most places in Golarion have seen enough stuff happen that it doesn't take long to get over the shock of talking house cat or songbird very quickly. Stuff happens on Golarion often. So it's like, that cat's talking. Yeah. Okay. It's that kind of reaction. It's like, okay. And then it's like, hey, Bill. It's like, it doesn't take long for all. Now, there are awakened animals that turn their back on civilized race, and they can sometimes create animal societies where they're natural rulers and leaders. They use their intelligence to create an order and structure that the animals would do. In Ustla, there's a pack of wolves, a very large one, that combines several smaller packs led by an awakened wolf that roam the countryside, protect villages from undead. In Icegar, merchants tell bears that attack caravans but only do enough damage to steal goods before leaving. There also is rumors of a awakened city of animals in Iboria named Rome, where an awakened animal might hear of it at some point in their lives, but it's kind of a dream to find it. It's said to be the homeland of all awakened animals and a place where their intellect and wild spirits are equally awful. And again, rumors. Now, awakened animals see the world through a natural world. That's an important thing to think about. Those who are unsettled by humans or have been traumatized by them live with nature. But driven by curiosity or structure, seek to find a place, order to rule bound within the human society sometimes. So, religion is part of that. And there is no uniform religion for awakened animals. But, unsurprisingly, the domains of the natural world are very popular, like Gozra. Hey, it turns out natural world and natural deities match with this very natural deity. There are some that have worshipped more destructive gods, like the Mashu and Robogu. There are those who were awakened by a companion, might adopt the companion's outlook, possibly adopt that companion's religion as well, too. Which leads us to our final part about this more on Golarion, and this one here, who's an awakened companion of someone. This is, of course, Gutlugger, who's Shinsen's awakened Deinonychus rogue companion. Now, otherwise in Golarion, Usaro in Long Expanse is home to approximately 100 awakened apes. That's probably the largest thing of that. But they're servants of the god of Usaro and, the Gorilla King and the entire thing that happened there. So it kind of connects and understands why they're there. They're not a society on their own. They've joined a society. There's another pack of awakened direwolves in Wildland that claims an abandoned village in the river kingdom of Seven Arches, where they call it the Den. An awakened mammoth hill stomper guards a mammoth graveyard with stolen lands of the river kingdom, and shares a common druidic progenitor with the awakened horse, Windchaser. A swarm of dire rats, known as Hadi, descended from Shuni experiments, and awakened by Luku demon meddling, populate the ruins of Ko. Animals that drink from Yangsur Lake, located in the crying woods of Fudra, become awakened. Thousands of awakened animals populate the Janarvian Maharaja and are led by Kandula, an awakened panther. So it's a strange lake that awakens animals. And so there is probably, that's a general population of them. So, yeah. There's awakened animals. In a nutshell. Again, we have to thank How the Wild for getting a real deep look at them as an ancestry you could play. But it's not something that we've heard about before in a lot of places, in a lot of the lore in Golarion and Pathfinder through the editions. Animals that have been granted intelligence, especially things like the Awakening Animal ritual, and very similar ones that existed in First Edition, have created these things. And as we say, there's other magic behind it too. There are other situations that could lead to the creation of a different awakened creature, connections or magics or things like that. And it's sort of like a little bit the sky's the limit on the origin of exactly where you come from as an awakened animal. But yeah, spark of intelligence, a drive away from the wild while still being between two worlds, that's what they face. And it's interesting to see this juxtaposition between them, this battle between them as creatures that are still very much so connected to the wild. They have the mind of any other ancestor, but the body and spirit, in a lot of ways, of just something out in the wild. And finding that balance in their lives is a challenge they constantly face. Finding some kind of acceptance, some kind of place in that world is also nothing. You can only hope that they can find their best place, find acceptance. That's the type of the I hope you enjoyed today learning about this ancestry. It's a fun one. An awakened animal is a very interesting idea. Certainly, I would love to see if any of you out there have any great ideas for an awakened animal character. I know my friend of the channel, Worm, has talked about doing one of them in the future and experimenting around with that. It's interested for some good ideas, and I'm interested out there. And while you're at it, remember to give the normal supports, like and subscribing to the bell. If you want to check out whenever I'm doing anything, whether it's live over on Twitch, recording this, streaming some video games, doing stuff with friends, or over on YouTube where I upload all of my tabletop stuff. The schedule is up on my social media and my YouTube. It's my Discord, my Blue Sky, my Twitter/F, and I said the YouTube where I upload it weekly, just a general schedule that kind of keeps up. My YouTube schedule is very exact, unless there's issues with videos. My Twitch schedule is a little bit more open-ended. I keep people informed on my social media. There's no changes there. Of course, remember to check out any of my live plays. I have had some Pathfinders in the past, planning more in the future. I'm going to be doing the second edition coming up within the couple months of the recording of this here, and discussing tabletop on Saturdays at 6. Hope everybody has a good day. I think that's all the shout-outs I need to give. And I'm going to say, until the next time we chat about an ancestry, something in Golarion, something in another role-playing world, whether it's lore or mechanics, I bid all of you out there a deep and wonderful. Farewell.